Um, I'm Nathan, and this is my presentation about the films. Okay, so my topic is critical reviews of The Greatest Showman in popular culture is media to becoming a globally film. So The Greatest Showman. The Greatest Showman is a 2017 American musical biographical drama film directed by Michael Gracie. Inspired by the story of Burnham's creation of Burnham's American Museum, and the film features 9 original songs. Although the film received mixed reviews from critics, its box office 435 million, which is the third highest grossing musical ever in North America. It can be a so-called successful film in terms of the profit made. At the time of the film was first released, it was not considered as a worth watching one. According to the USA Today, a newspaper from the US, Greatest Showman was butt of Twitter joked when it first hit theaters, as people roundly mocked for its anachronistic pop songs and largely fictionalized story. So the analysis. So hyperreality is necessary for a film to mix the actual fact and simulated situation in a biographical drama film, in order to increase the tension in the film and raise the curiosity of the audience towards the film to add interest or even affinity to the film. In The Greatest Showman, the story plot was based on Burnham's personal story of the opening of its own museum. As a film, in order to make it more dramatic and grab the attention of the audience, the writer fictionalizing of the life of Burnham to marry his childhood friend from noble class and the luck of him to successfully rebuilding the theater, even after a disastrous fire destroyed the place. Without the twist from the original story of Burnham in the 20th century, there would be only boring and make-or plot to present on the screen, as the Burnham in real life didn't experience big failure in life, nor any fascinating love story happened to attract the audience. So on the other side, people are still able to distinguish the impossibility in the film in comparison to the realities, despite their affinity towards the film. It does not create any simulacrum. The film still holds its authenticity in reality. According to Against Interpretation by Sontag, it is believed that the art should be about feelings first, which then give us hints to understand the content. It is applicable to this film as people are bombarded by the dramatic and musical effect surrounding them in the theater. The astonishing experience has established likeness to the film and overwhelmed them with successive of catchy songs and dancing movements. Audiences tend to enjoy the feeling of the film rather than focusing on the rationale of the story when they are watching the film. So, love story in films. Love story in films has become an important component to connect the story and The Greatest Showman with no other film, which fulfills the audience a pity of having a nice love ending of two characters on the screen. Therefore, even though critics claim that this is fictionalized film, people are still fond of the movie. So the content. The film exists in the popular culture as it provoked the thinking of the audience in all ages. The story set in the 20th century, the circus showman, Burnham, recruited and gathered the disabled people who have inborn body defect, whom they are to be considered as freak and unwanted in society at that time. To be the circus player, it also stirred up control oversizes in society with people opposing their performance. It was simply because the public discriminated against defective players. Inversely, they attracted the curious people in turn on and received compliments from public by the time, and so they continued the work and gained success. So the carnival theory. In fact, in terms of the carnival theory, the film acts as the medium which enables us to rethink the unreasonable century-long perception of social classes towards different people, which rooted in our mind. In this 21st century, we still sometimes label the lives of the defective people and the disabled. Sarcastically, the discrimination are still happening in our society even after 100 years. This is reflective film by the message it brings out. Our society in all time has been harsh to the special individuals around the world. The inversion or transcendence of social hierarchies could be based on the carnival. The story of the Greatest Showman is an example of the theory. The defective people were considered the lowest social class in society in the 20th century. Nevertheless, they had the chance to become well known by performing their talents in the circus, with changing the perception of people from discriminating hatred to likeness and remarkable. Their identity became more acceptable and recognized as more of the normal people who could gain respect. The social status of the players became higher and gained equality due to their outstanding performance in the circus. The film eventually created the ideal picture of the life-changing defective people gaining happiness by the carnival. So globalization, surprisingly, the anachronistic pop song stated by critics has also led to the prevalence of the song, making the film famous globally. So upon globalization, the film has rewarded awards to recognize the efforts of production teams in all over the world. For example, Never Enough and This Is Me are two Oscar-nominated empowered anthems. So in conclusion, all in all, the lightness and resonance created by the film has led to the success in the drama musical film genre despite the shallow facet of the story plot held by some critics. It is not easy to combine musical elements in a movie, especially there are 9 original songs in total and being played in one movie. The film has no choice but to abandon their deeper depiction of the inner world of the characters. That may leave space for audience to think out of the box and make their own meaning of the film. It is worth watching film. Thank you.